Hello and welcome. This is Jay Overthinker. And before I begin, Pathfinder Kingmaker, I want to go over how I intend to use this channel. This channel is primarily focused on combat, tactics, and strategy. My goal is to really find out a way if we can create a very good general strategy that can apply to all of the games within this genre, the turn-based, team-based, party-based, squad-based sort of genre. These are games like XCOM 2, Battletech, Pathfinder, and Divinity, just to name a few. And how I intend to do this is I've written up a document called the Baseline Strategy. It's just something to start with, considered a living document, basically. And as I go through these games, I will try to apply it, use it, make adjustments for the game specifically, and then after the game is done, we'll go back, do a retrospective, and revisit our baseline strategy and see if we can tweak anything, include anything that might apply to all other games based on our experiences with the game we just finished. And so given that this is a very strategy-based, combat-oriented sort of channel, I intend on actually skipping through cutscenes and skimming the dialogue, only to pretty much what we need to get through the game and make good choices, because dialogue choices are still a part of the game and play into the strategy that we get to employ. This helps allow you to go back and go through the game without having any kind of real story details, or not, at least not too many story details being revealed here on this channel. And it's also a little bit more inclusive. I plan to commentate on all the things, every little thing that is within the game, contained within the game. I intend on not using any external sources of information. We're going to play just with what the game gives us. And so that's going to be our general approach to how we will play games like Pathfinder Kingmaker and future games going forward. So I just wanted to make sure everyone understands how I plan to approach these types of Let's Play sort of formats here. So that's basically my channel in a nutshell. All right, so moving forward, now that you understand what my channel is about here, we're going to start with character creation. And before we go into that, I'm going to briefly summarize my baseline strategy. I basically feel that the ultimate goal of every team or unit in the game is to deal damage and eliminate threats. And so this is going to be a very damage-focused sort of theory that I'm going to be running with here. Given that, in our character creations, I feel it's probably most prudent to probably decide to create what I'm going to call the main damage dealer. The main damage dealer is basically the role that is focused on dealing damage. It's pretty straightforward. However, it's a little more nuanced in terms of how we centralize all the other characters to support that character, to enable that person to constantly do damage. I think that's a whole separate beast, because sometimes when I play games, I try to do damage with everybody. There's no really specific purpose or role for each person, and sometimes the person that ends up being your big damage guy ends up running around doing other things, trying to preserve him or herself. But with that, which means that particular individual is not doing any damage. So given that this idea, if we focus around it, we can ensure that our best guy to do damage will constantly be doing damage. So that's kind of the general gist of what I'm trying to work with in the baseline strategy. You can see the details in the link below here, and all the other episodes I'll keep constantly link it so anyone can follow. So moving forward here, I'll create this new game. This game will be done in turn-based mode because this is a turn-based channel. I feel like this is the best way to kind of exemplify a cause and effect without any other interference or any other factors such as skill. Admittedly, I'm not always the greatest with these turn-based games, but I'm here to pretty much learn and develop some amount of mastery in these sorts of things. So here's my attempt at doing so here. We're going to make it hard. I would like to do unfair, however, it's ridiculously hard. There's like a damage multiplier. There's a 2-time damage multiplier to the party on top of everything else. It's pretty ridiculous. You should try it out a couple times, but don't really bang your head over it. I tried for a moment, just through the prologue, and it was crazy. Very hard to get through. So hard is actually fairly reasonable, though. So we'll do hard. Create our own character. Starts with the portraits. I have no idea what my character is going to be. I'll skip forward here. And so when we think about the ideal damage dealer, we're like supposed to dream of our big damage like what's the ideal features of one. I think the biggest thing that sticks out is being able to do big damage at a range, as far a range as possible to stay safe. So given that, we probably should maybe make a ranged character for this as our main damage guy and our main character. So we're looking at probably using some kind of bow or crossbow, maybe spells even. Depends on what scales better. Actually, I don't think from here we can understand what scales better. But we pretty much have to pick one and roll with it, basically. I feel like the magic classes generally come with a little bit more utility. And perhaps maybe their damage won't be nearly as consistent. Might be easier to perhaps just find a bow wielder. So let's see what we have working with here. Again, we're going to be basically slowly building up a knowledge base in the beginning, and so everyone can follow, and then we can establish, you know, the logic and reasoning behind why we're making the decisions we're going to make here. So let's go through the stats here. We'll see what stats are important. This is a huge paragraph, several paragraphs worth of stuff. I want to read all of this here, so I'll try to summarize it here. It looks like towards the bottom, you can see your character's strength modifier applies to melee attack rolls, athletics, and strength checks. Damage rolls when using a melee weapon or thrown weapon, including a sling. Note that offhand attacks receive only half the character's strength bonus, while two-hand attacks receive 1.5. That's worth noting. Maybe we don't have to limit ourselves to the ranged. If we maybe go with a melee character, we can have like a two-handed guy that gets, you know, extra bonuses from the strength. I do like the fact that the melee attack and the damage rolls are tied to the one stat too. That's a pretty big deal. It makes that, you know, pretty strong contender, and maybe makes melee characters kind of a strong choice for as a main damage character. But again, I'm going to stick to, you know, let's go with the ranged here. What's interesting is this last line here: a strength penalty, but not a bonus, applies to attacks made with a bow, unless it's a composite bow. So perhaps the assumption here is that a strength bonus can apply to a composite bow. So this is pretty interesting. Maybe we can actually use strength to increase damage on the bow. Let's see if dexterity actually increases damage for bows, though. All right, if you just skip right down to the last part here. Your character's dexterity modifier applies to range attacks made with bows, crossbows, throwing axes, and many ranged spell attacks, like Scorching Ray or Searing Light. Armor class provided that the character is able to react, reflex saving throw, mobility, trickery, and stealth checks. So I'm seeing a theme here of attack versus damage. I wonder if ranged attack just applies to the ability to hit things, given the information we've seen here so far. I'm unsure if this actually increases damage through dexterity. Constitution, pretty straightforward. Each roll of a hit die. Each roll of a hit die. Just kind of like blink. It looks like it's about gaining hit points. So this determines how well you gain hit points. Fortitude saving throws. And if a character's constitution score changes enough to alter his or her constitution modifier, the character's hit points also increase. Okay, so if your constitution increases and the modifier goes up, it looks like your overall hit points will also increase along with it. Intelligence. The number of skill points we gain each level, alright. Knowledge and lore skill checks. And then note, wizards and alchemists gain bonus spells based on their intelligence scores. So intelligence is for spellcasters that use, you know, that are for wizards and alchemists more specifically. Then we got wisdom, will saving throws, perception, lore checks, and something similar but clerics with the spells. Something similar to spells like wizards, but with clerics, druids, inquisitors, and rangers instead for wisdom. So that's interesting. Rangers might be able to get spells, and they use wisdom if we're interested in kind of boosting that. Last but not least, charisma. Influence others, channeled energy DCs for clerics, paladins attempting to harm undead foes. I'm unsure what a DC is. Bards, paladins, and sorcerers gain a number of bonus spells. Okay, so same thing like wizards, but for charisma, it's for bards, paladins, and sorcerers. I wonder if these also make spells stronger. It just looks like they can access higher level spells. So unsure if they're really good, you know, if wizards are like the damage dealer sort of thing, or if they're mostly utility or supportish sort of things with some ability to do damage. Now again, it sounds like more argument to use a bow over magic. Alright, so we got several, so given the stats here, I think we're most interested in strength and dexterity, and considering the possibility of using a composite bow for the extra damage. I think if we focus these two, we can get a pretty strong character that hits hard at a range. So let's see what can give us the most bang for our buck at strength and dexterity. Humans, we get +2 to 1 ability score. So this we can just pick strength or dexterity and we'll boost it. Feet. Looks like you get extra skills right off the get-go, and more ranks and skills. All right, elves. Keen senses. Dwarves, elves, gnomes, half-elves, and half-orcs gain +2 on perception checks. I kind of like this because this gives us the possibility of turning our character into a bit of a scout if we have better perception. Not really the most important thing, and maybe we don't want to put people forward like that. Is our main damage dealer. Might be best maybe to even keep them back. But this is always a consideration when given things like this. Elven magic. +2 racial bonus on caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance. In addition, elves receive a +2. So it looks like elves can cast magic better. Doesn't apply here for me. Elves are immune to magic sleep effects and gain a +2 racial saving throw bonus against enchantment spells. Alright, looks like that could benefit us. Defensive. Not the most important thing. Elves are proficient at longbows, including composite longbows. Alright, that's something we're very interested in. So elves come with a natural proficiency. And treat any word with the weapon with the word elven in it as a martial weapon. So this is a pretty strong contender here. It looks like we get +2 dex, -2 con, +2 intelligence. I'm a little skeptical about the -2 con because, you know, I think health is still important. Surviving is important to anyone, especially if we're playing on harder difficulty. So I'm unsure if we want actually to run with elf if we're going to take a penalty at our durability. And then the intelligence doesn't seem like it'll do us any good here if we're going to go with like a ranger sort of build or like a ranged fighter sort of thing. Our dwarf. Yeah, maybe we should start with the bonuses here and just skip past the ones that don't give us dexterity bonus. So +2 con, +2 wisdom, and -2 charisma. Alright, and I don't think I want to take a penalty to charisma either. A little less important than constitution, but it seems like our character is going to interact with a lot of people, being the main character. And I don't want to be at a penalty naturally, or having to put points into it to not be at a penalty. Gnome, -2 strength. That's definitely a no-go here. Halfling, -2 strength. Nope. Alright, so we got half-elf here. Looks like the same thing as humans. We could pick one ability, gets +2 bonus. And then it's got a little bit of the elven traits here. Keen senses, elven immunities, and adaptability. Well, elves and humans. So they receive a skill focus as a bonus feat at first level. So definitely a mix of human and elf here. Yeah, these aren't that important, so not blowing me away with the half-elf race here. Half-orc, +2 to 1 ability score, just like the humans again. Skilled, just like humans. However, it comes with intimidating, which isn't important here. Orc, weapon familiarity, which is only proficiency with great axes and falchions. With treat any weapon with the word orc in it as in its name as a martial weapon, so it doesn't really include bows. So I'm not really interested in half-orc either. Alright, Aasimar, heritage. Some, however, possess more unique traits and abilities inherited from their supernal forebears. Attributes that hint at the precise type of celestial being that affected their ancestors. So I'm unsure what heritage is. Light Halo. Bonus saving throw against becoming blind or deaf. So that's actually pretty good. That means that our main damage's capability is harder to slow down. You can't just simply blind them as easily as others. And then slash resistance. Yeah, some resistance. Not that important. Aasimars are humans. Alright, with a significant amount of celestial or other good outsider blood in their ancestry. Alright, good to know. And then Tiefling. Same thing, no stat bonuses here. They got their own heritage with their own resistances, and that's it. Alright, so we gotta figure out what heritage is. I do see heritage over here. So I'm kind of tempted to skip to it just so we can help pick our race first. I feel like heritage should have came after race, really. So let's just pick Ranger. Looks like this is probably something that we'll look at pretty hard. Alright, we'll start with Aasimar here. Okay, let's see what Aasimar has. Or Aasimar. +2 racial bonus to wisdom and charisma, alright? +2 bonus on persuasion and perception checks. And can use searing light. So it looks like they get a stat bonus, skill bonus, and an additional ability. Alright, so we'll make this easy on ourselves again and just pick out strength and dexterity bonuses here. So Angelkin has +2 strength. Actually, maybe we could decide what's more important, strength or dexterity. And I think that's like a matter of accuracy versus damage. With strength, we can melee a little bit better too, if we focus on it more than the dexterity. However, our ability to hit with our ranged weapon might suffer. So I'm a little tempted to maybe focus more on dexterity than on strength. I guess we could skim it, but I think for the sake of time, it'd be easier just to say, hey, let's just pick dexterity, and try to focus and tamp down on that. I am interested in the extra ability you get, though, so maybe we'll read the extra ability here. For Angelkin, they get lesser restoration spell, so it sounds pretty good here. Maybe a heal spell. Emberkin doesn't have the stats we want. Nope, not the stats we want here with Idlekin. Lawbringer. Nope as well. Constitution Wisdom. Muse Touch. +2 racial bonus to dexterity and charisma. Alright, that sounds pretty good. +2 racial bonus on persuasion and mobility checks, and can use glitter dust, whatever that is. That sounds like maybe that could be like something that could help protect my character. Maybe might be useful, but not entirely important. To dealing damage there. And then Plumkith. They have +2 bonus to dexterity and wisdom, which is very ideal for rangers, since they use both of those. And they get 2 bonus on mobility and athletics checks. That sounds really good too, and can use invisibility. So this is a very strong contender here. So this and the Elven, because of the composite longbow proficiency. All right. And again, this might be even stronger because there's no penalty to any stat really. So it's like +4 stats versus everyone else's only +2. You know, net gain of 2, right? Because usually most other races have a penalty if they get 4. And if they get +2 and 2 other stats. So Aasimar seems a little strong, a little bit stronger than the rest. All right, and then we'll pick Tiefling and go through its heritage as well. Same thing, we'll just tamp down the dexterity stuff here, and it looks like they include a penalty too. So they get 4 things with their heritage. Similar to the Aasimar, they get stat bonus, also stat penalty, skill bonuses, an ability, but then also like a passive. Yeah, it's pretty consistent across all of them. So here's the Tiefling with bonus dexterity and wisdom. Penalty to intelligence is, you know, fine because we don't need it. But we get the racial bonus isn't all that great. Knowledge for arcana and world checks. They get hideous laughter, which I'm not sure what that's really used for, if that's something we need as a ranger or as a bow wielder guy. I kind of say ranger, I believe, because it has the wisdom bonus, dex and wisdom bonus. So I would imagine that's what you might want to think about. They get that enchantment spells and a bonus saving throw against enchantments and effects. So that's straight from the elven bonus there. So that's pretty strong too. Not as applicable as the other one, the Plumkith Aasimar. Grimspawn, here's some dexterity intelligence. They get trickery and persuasion. This doesn't seem as relevant actually as the default spawn here to what we might be considering, because it's got intelligence and also penalty to wisdom. So it makes ranger less of a thing that we would like to consider. Will spawn. Not applicable. Constitution, Wisdom, Strength and Wisdom, Strength and Wisdom, Strength and Charisma, Constitution, Charisma, Dexterity and Charisma with penalty to Intelligence. All right, sounds good. Racial bonus to Persuasion when used for diplomacy and knowledge roll checks. Can use the Sound Burst spell once per day. They add +1 to the DC of any saving throw against enchantment spells that they cast. Doesn't seem like that's something I'm really concerned with either. The bonuses, I'm not sure what they really entail. I'm not really too interested in it. And this is Dexterity and Intelligence with penalty to Charisma as well. Yeah, this is like a sorcerer specific, Eldritch Science specific kind of bonus on the end here for the normal Tiefling. I'm not really too thrilled about the Tiefling compared to the Aasimar Plumenkith. So between Elf and Aasimar Plumenkith is kind of what we're looking at here. I want to know what kind of bonus I get for proficiency with longbows. And the intelligence isn't really all that relevant. The Constitution's a hit against us. Let's go with the Aasimar Plumenkith for this one. Make this person left-handed. Let's see what kind of portrait we might want to consider now. They look like humans, but they're celestial, so perhaps we're gonna have some flexibility with what we can use here. We definitely know what we can't use. These are like anything with claws like this, or orcs. They don't look too human. This one looks like it could be an Aasimar. Same with this one. No bow though, but I don't think we actually need a bow for the portrait. Or Tiefling. Tieflings do look pretty cool. This is a possibility. You know it's like an elf, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. I can't. It's not like I'm gonna be drawing my own portrait here. These are short people. Definitely not what we're looking for either. I could use this one, but he looks a little holy and has only got this glaive. Pretty cool though. This is a strong contender actually. Even though it's elf, it's got this glowy stuff. I guess it's not so human, but it's still got this cool bow. I don't know what this is. It's got this magic whip looking thing. It looks like more of a caster. He just looks bougie. Yeah, the pointy ears is very elvish. I don't think I'm gonna let that prevent me from picking one. These guys look more like warriors. Who's picked this guy? Just a regular old dude. Regular old dude. I like this. Let's make regular old dude. Alright. So, skinniest guy. How can we match this guy? He makes his eyes glow at night. Don't worry about that. You can't even see his hair. Maybe we don't have to worry about it. If I choose a different class, could I see my hair? Okay. Oh, I'm kind of glad I did this now. I'm actually pretty invested in this now. I like balding though. Kind of balding guy. This is as close as I can get here. A plain looking Aasimar. This guy looks like a borderline god. There we go. Go. Like a not as cool Liam Neeson, sort of washed out looking guy. Alright, like this. Kinda close. I'm getting there. Alright. We'll click Plumenkith here. Oh, there's a... Oh, because I picked a class. That was Cleric. Oh, I see. Alright, no, we're not gonna be Cleric. Alright, so again, we're trying to look for a ranged sort of class. So I guess we could go down a list and see if we can get a proficiency in bows, basically. You know, this is kind of interesting. This guy throws bombs. I wonder what kind of range we get on those, or what kind of bonuses you can get on throwing bombs everywhere. A range of 30 feet. Use the throw splash weapon special attack. Can be selected using feats such as point blank shot and weapon focus. Yeah, I don't think this applies, only because we picked a character based on dexterity, not on intelligence. A little tempting, though. It looks like each of these classes also have, like, a variant of itself, of, like, the regular version of it. I'm gonna skim through these, even though, like, Barbarian's clearly most likely a melee class. See if they have, like, a ranged variant of itself. And we're gonna start with proficiencies because we need to make sure they can use a bow, a composite bow more specifically. Yeah, see, like bards, they are proficient with all simple weapons plus everything but a composite bow. Can druids use a composite bow? I imagine maybe some kind can use a bow. Nope, these guys use darts and slings. No bows for druids. Fighters probably for sure. Proficient with all simple martial weapons. I'm gonna assume composite bows are included in that. I'm looking for any bonuses to attack or damage to ranged attacks. Looks like we get a lot of bonus combat feats. Imagine these are like skills or passives that we can apply to our character. And let's assume we pick, each time we do pick one, it's benefit, you know, our ranged ability. So looks like we get 2 kind of in the first 2 levels here pretty quickly. They get a bonus to fear, against fear. They can be maneuverable and heavier armor, so that's kind of interesting. Not really something that a damage dealer really wants to focus on, but it's still something to consider. They can select one group of weapons. Whenever he attacks with a weapon from this group, he gains a +1 bonus on attack and damage rolls. Okay, cool. That starts at the 5th level. And then he can become further trained in another group of weapons as he gets more levels. And then the previous weapon groups increase by 1 every 4 levels. Every 4 levels, you know, by the 9th level, you get +2. It seems pretty spread out. But it applies to any situation, it seems, so. And I have no idea what combat maneuvers are. There's more bonus at the bottom regarding combat maneuver checks. The dueling sword specialty here. And 2-handed fighters. Doesn't look like it's, yeah, it looks like these icons aren't bow related. So, maybe fighter. See what an inquisitor is. Maybe like load a pre-made build. What happens if I load it? Okay, cool. I can see what they allocate in terms of skills, and just go from there. Dexterity and wisdom, like a ranger, but more in wisdom. Inquisitors work with members of faith whenever possible, even such allies are not suspicious. So let's see what the proficiencies are. They got a lot going on here. You revel in ruin and devastation. Alright, I like the sound of that. You gain the supernatural ability to make a melee attack with the morale bonus, the damage rolls. Alright. Oh, it's only for melee. A little sad. Yeah, so no real range capability like bonuses here, I don't think. Skill at sensing deception, intimidating foes. So they're very... His charisma would be pretty good with them as well. Yeah, I don't know what they're about, to be honest. They look like they do. They might want to focus on melee weapons a little bit more, though, but with some other capabilities and like teamwork and things like that, berating people. Oh, they pursue holy missions. Okay. They're divine casters. Alright, that's something to know here. Do they get spells? These pick deities? Oh, I should look over here. This would make it a lot easier. Detect magic. Yeah, so they sound a lot more like casters with some melee capabilities. I'd rather skip over here. Kineticist sounds very magical as well. Magus? They learned some sword fighting, maybe it looks like. Oh, yeah, let's just use this again. Arcane caster, so it looks like they do some casting, of course. The name like Magus. Spell combat. They learn to cast spells and wield his weapons at the same time. This functions much like two-weapon fighting, but the offhand weapon is a spell that's being cast. Alright. So it's weapon and magic. I wonder if they, let's load a pre-made build here. See what they focus on. Intelligence and dexterity. So definitely don't want to mess with this because it's intelligence. I didn't really get bonuses with my race, and I didn't really want to put my money into intelligence. I wanted strength. So Eldritch Archer, that sounds kind of interesting. Rains magical attacks down on her foes. One line. That's all they get. They are proficient with all simple martial weapons, alright? Range spell combat. Must use a ranged weapon for spell combat. She doesn't need a free hand for ranged spell combat. The Eldritch Archer cannot accept an attack penalty to gain a bonus on it. Okay, whatever that means. So here's the ranged spell combat portions. You can deliver spells through a ranged weapon. What damage bonuses can I get here? Alright, Arcane Pool. So they can expend 1 point from his Arcane Pool as a swift action to grant any weapon he is holding a +1 enhancement bonus for 1 minute. For every 4 levels beyond the first, weapon gains another +1. Alright, so at level 5, it'll have +2. Up to +5. You can get special bonuses here, such as Flaming Burst. That's pretty cool. They can add little properties and stuff and just like make their weapon stronger. Looks like there's a bit of flexibility with it. Well, this is also consideration. I think I might like it just a little bit more than the fighter because this bonus here is comes a little sooner. I feel like where you start at +1 at level 5 versus starting at +1 at level 1. I hope your attack and damage rolls, but it's tied to intelligence. I could think about this and go back and just switch up and look for a dexterity intelligence heritage instead. I don't think monks are going to be a thing. Paladins most likely not either. Alright, Ranger, definitely. Just make it easy and maybe just pick one of these. Since that's kind of the stats we focused on anyway. Dexterity and Wisdom. I think if I were actually to optimize this race, it will definitely be Ranger. But I could easily go Dexterity Intelligence. And this way, then maybe I don't have to put points into Strength. Well, let's see what we got here, though, with the Ranger. So definitely can use all simple martial weapons. Didn't expect anything less. But they get to select a creature type. Gets a +2 bonus on level 1 on a weapon attack and damage against them. Alright. Then they get more additional favored enemies. And then their bonuses increase by +2 every 5 levels after level 5. That's actually really good. You can go up to what? I guess it goes up to +8. And you have like what? However many favored enemies? Like 5. That's a good range. Unsure what how narrow or wide the scope of enemy types are though, so that's a bit risky as well. So because against everything else it'd be just normal. I'll select one combat style to pursue. Alright, so we get combat styles. Favorite terrain? So it looks like this will make a ranger good for scouting. Okay, perception and stealth. Increases on specific terrain. It's not really a huge selling point. I'm unsure if I want to really scout with my main damage guy. Might want someone else that's more expendable. That sounds like that might make more sense. Hunter's Bond. You can bond with companions. And they grant half their favorite enemy bonus to another person. And it lasts how long it lasts is based on their wisdom. Or they can have an animal companion. And that's actually pretty nice too, because that represents an extra body and also additional damage. So it's like indirect extra damage, but it's damage nonetheless that comes with this class. Got invasion, alright, some survivability here. Query. +2 insight bonus on attack rolls made against his query. All critical threats are automatically confirmed. Right, it's like a mark for themselves, I believe. And endurance. Yeah, so they got a good range of stuff that helps them kind of survive outside, travel, scout. They don't necessarily have to be just a damage dealer. They can do other things too. Freebooter. Natural leader. Works well with a variety of people and a variety of roles. Alright. Looks like a lot changed with them. No more favorite enemy stuff. We get this Freebooter's Bane instead. Starting at level 1. Freebooter allies gain +1 on weapon attack and damage rolls at 5th level, and every 5 levels after, it goes up by 1. Not specific to a person at all. It's always there. We have to constantly put this Bane on other people using our move action though, but maybe we can not move around as much. It's a pretty good contender as well. Doesn't have that kind of high damage potential though on specific targets like the Ranger does though. The same combat style thing. Still got the favorite terrain. Well, everything else is pretty much the same except for the no favored enemy and no bonding actually. What happens at 4th level here? Forms bond with crewmates. Allows her to spend a move action to grant her allies extra combat prowess. Allies within 30 feet who can see or hear the freebooter gain additional +2 bonus on attack rolls when flanking. Wow. So this helps the team. No, we're not going to worry about top last level sort of things because I'm not sure if we're going to get there. Moving on here. Flame Warden. Alright, favorite enemy's back. What's different? Touch of Flame. So we get Touch of Flame instead of the bond. The Hunter's Bond. So can use his weapons to burst into flame. This starts at 4th level. I get some fire spells here. At 9th level, Flame Warden can fan the last spark of a recently slain character's life force back into full flame. Once per day as a standard action, a Flame Warden can touch the corpse of a creature to grant it the effects of Breath of Life. The spell cures... Okay. Alright, so it looks like we can heal someone that's dead. Something that's dead. That's actually pretty strong. Kind of like a helps cover mistakes sort of spell. You get summon elementals. Pretty cool. Kind of, you know, helps. Kind of similar to the animal companion. Ah, man, all over the place here. Burning renewal. It comes with, like, healing stuff. This is funny. I wouldn't expect this. If a Flame Warden dies, his body explodes. I don't like that. I don't want it. I don't intend on the ranger dying here. It's kind of the point of a main damage person to not die. Pretty much should be the last one to die. Oh wow, resurrection. Okay, but that's level 20. Right, Stormwalker. Still has favorite enemy. Has archery. So this looks very focused on ranged. Whereas I feel like Flame Warden didn't have that. I think these are just, yeah, combat style feats. Stormwalker makes you pick archery or focus on archery instead, which is no problem to me. See what kind of abilities we get here. Wind Shredder. So it gets shocking burst on their weapons here. Kind of similar to what a Flame Warden can do with the flames in their weapon. A lot of mobility. This is very... So they look a little more mobile than the other rangers. It looks like it might be only intended for archers. Or for rangers that want to be like archers. And I kind of like the sound of this. So... Same amount of feats. Yeah, same amount of... I guess this is just specific feats. They're more selective feats here. I wonder if they get to access, like, maybe the archery stuff earlier than the other rangers, though. Yeah, so Freebooter seems kind of like a ranger with some kind of like bardic sort of capability. I'm not really feeling that for main damage. I think Ranger Stormwalker is a strong contender here. Let's see if the other classes between Rogue Slayer can compete here. I'm not sure if Sneak Attack actually applies to bows. I'm a little worried about. And they can't use composite bows anyway. Bows and hand crossbows. So it's all about sneaking up and doing quick damage. And I'm unsure how close you have to be to get the sneak attack off. Gains weapon finesse. At first level, Rogue gains weapon finesse as a bonus feat. And to start at third level, she can select any one type of weapon that can be used with weapon finesse. Wonder if she makes a successful melee attack. Oh, it's a melee thing. Yeah, very melee focused. The magic thief? Oh, thug. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like a very ranged type of class here. And then a Slayer. Skill at tracking on targets. Slayers are consummate hunters, living for the chase, and a deadly stroke that brings it close. Slayers spend most of their time honing their weapon skills, studying the habits and anatomy of foes, and practicing combat maneuvers. Still don't know what combat maneuvers are. Slayer can study an opponent he can see as a move action. Slayer then gains a +1 bonus on weapon attack and damage rolls against it. The DCs of Slayer class abilities against that opponent increase by 1. If Slayer deals sneak attack damage to a target, he studies that target, allowing him to apply his... It goes back to sneak attacking. Which again, I don't know if this is very friendly to a range attack or not. They can select a ranger combat style though. So looks like they're a mix of ranger and rogue. Yeah, I'd rather not risk it. Unsure about it. Rangers seem pretty strong too, and a lot easier to kind of manage. Go with a regular ranger or stormwalker. I wonder if this one edges out the ranger in terms of damage. It doesn't get like a pet though, or like this kind of a teamwork related hunter's bond. And I think this might be more powerful overall than the extra mobility you get as a stormwalker and the lightning weapon. But it does sound cool to be able to move around very well. Oh, it shows what abilities you get at each of these levels. You mouse over it. Base attack bonuses are down here too. For the first level, at least. So I'm hoping it doesn't stay at +1. Or any of this stuff, really. Stay at their current values. Yeah, I think we just go with Ranger. Regular ass Ranger for a regular ass guy. Alright, moving on here. Oh, looks like our stats are already assigned. We're already assigned here. Alright, so let's just drag our intelligence all the way down. Unsure about how much wisdom we need. I don't want 7 charisma, like I said before. I want at least 10. You never know what kind of checks I need to make here. Constitution, let's make it at 10 too. We made him range, so we don't have to worry about being hit as often. So 16 might be kind of as high as we can get here with the strength, +3 here. However, it costs us a lot of points to get up there. It can be 16 with 2 extra ability points to put somewhere else. Or 14, and we have 7. This looks maybe a little bit stronger. We have a little more balance here between our other abilities and our durability. I think this might be a little bit better. Or you do like that as well. Got 2 points for this intelligence. Nice. Yeah, how durable can we get? 16 strength, 18 dexterity, and 16 wisdom. I think I want to make sure I can hit everything though, so I think I actually kind of like the 20 better. But then maybe let's crank the strength. Yeah, let's try this. You know, we're gonna focus. We're gonna actually focus here. "14 wisdom. Yeah. I like the balance here between the constitution and wisdom. I don't see myself really casting a lot of spells. Well, what? -1. How? Oh. Must be the way they automatically assign these points here. So we have a bunch of I guess we could stealth pretty well. What's our heritage again? What does this give us? Mobility and athletics. And invisibility. So should we just buckle down and just make him a scout too as well? I mean, you need knowledge to be a scout, right? Class skill? What does this mean? You gain +3 bonus on all class skills that you put ranks into. If you have more than one class, both classes grant you a class skill bonus. These bonuses do not stack. So it looks like it gives you +3 for putting a point in there. Definitely perception. So stealth, nature, and perception. Yeah, I mean, what's the point of scouting if you can't identify things? Alright, abilities here. They're looks like these thumbs ups are suggesting things. We got point blank shot and weapon focus. Weapon focus, you get +1 bonus on all attack rolls you make using the selected weapon. You can gain this feat multiple times. Its effect do not stack. You apply to a new weapon. Or a +1 bonus on attack and damage rolls with ranged weapons at ranges of up to 30 feet. Okay. You get 2 bonuses instead of just the 1 attack. You get attack and damage. See if there's any other bow related ones. Blind fight? Oops, I did not mean to do that. Every time you miss because of concealment, you can reroll your miss chance. An invisible attacker gets no advantages. I think that's very specific. Not willing to entertain that quite yet. Maybe later. Just going through this here, seeing again if there are any bow related ones. They really give you all the options. Melee attack specific, precise attack, precise strike. Whenever you and an ally also has this feat. Okay. Nope. Requires some amount of coordination there. Yeah, let's start with a point blank shot like they suggested. Here's the favorite enemy. You get apparitions. They don't explain what any of these are. Dragon. Yeah, this seems to be broken down by a lot here. Some are fairly general, like animals. Plants, undead, vermin. I wonder how often we run across humans. I imagine pretty often, right? Almost like I want to, like, let's just pick humans and elves first, you know? Maybe we run across those the most. Maybe I just go humans, animals, undead, or humans, undead. That's probably what I want to start out with. Humans or undead. You almost always fight undead. And animals too are fairly common, but I feel like they're like out kind of like random battles. Kind of fight them individually. These are just assumptions. I don't really know what the encounters are in this game. So let's pick undead. I have faith that we'll definitely fight undead. We skipped over spells. Nothing to choose. Right. Looks like we're about done here.
I'm always ready. So many thoughts. I'll carve my name onto your flesh.
It's a good voice for a damage guy.
Forwards! This is my
maybe
path.
aggressive.
Someone else.
All this waiting bores me.
Yeah.
I am superior!
Alright, let's do it. He sounds like a guy that wants to do some damage. From a plain looking guy here. Alright, I'm gonna close my eyes and just randomly pick one of these. Wish I could just randomize it, but I cannot. Alright. Let's pick today's date. The 3rd. Yes, it's the 3rd. Alright, so with alignment, kind of makes me think about what kind of choices we're going to make throughout the game. I wonder if good means we'll help others. Maybe it leads to less conflict. And maybe by having less conflict, we don't have to expend as much resource. Unsure if it rewards experience is the same as, you know, let's say just killing a person. But that's how I feel maybe the inverse is with evil, is that you end up killing and fighting a lot more people, and you risk having to expend resources, but maybe you get more experience. You at least figure out how to beat people more often. Good is also more commonly done. And neutral, kind of in the middle, right? So let's just help out everyone. You know, we've kept it simple so far. I think maybe avoiding as much conflict as possible can be pretty fruitful. And maybe we get things from other people that way too as well. All right, we're gonna name him Plain J. Plain J, the Aasimar god being thing.
None shall escape!
Nice. Alright, looks like these list all our special abilities here. We got Coup de Grace. The melee weapon attack, we don't care. Demoralize. Related Persuasion, I don't care about that either. Shooting Affliction. Make a lore religion check. Oh, not something I have here. Fighting defensively. Alright, something to think about. Mobility might be useful for this. We need to preserve our guy. Kind of like an emergency situation, though. Here's our abilities that we picked from before. So we have +4 melee attack, +6 range attack. He's actually could hold his own in like kind of a close combat situation too. So this is something to think about. What's a combat maneuver? Come on, game. Oh, here we go. You can attempt to perform a number of maneuvers that can hinder or even cripple your foe. Although these maneuvers have vastly different, okay. Kind of a big, you can do a move sort of thing in combat. Whatever a move is. Alright, everything looks good here, and that concludes the character creation portion of, you know, my Aasimar Ranger. I know it took a while, but really trying to understand what's going on here and how we kind of take in the information, apply it to the strategy that we're trying to develop here with turning this character into our primary damage guy. So in the next part, we're going to start the game basically. It'll be episode 1. So I'll see you over there then. All right, take care.